China is the world's fourth biggest destination for international tourism by visitor numbers, behind France, the US and Spain. Globally, it also ranks fourth in terms of earnings from international tourism. But how about trip security? How does China compare to other big destinations when it comes to travelling in safety?
This is Tiantan, or the Temple of Heaven in Beijing. It's one of China's most recognizable tourist attractions, and one of the most visited too. There are a lot of international travelers here. Let's go and ask them what they think about China in terms of safety.
I cannot think of anywhere safer.
Well, I think that in China there is a very good safety. I think that here I feel more safety than maybe in the United States that I've been last year.
Extremely safe, I would say. I think it's probably safer than England, to be honest. In England there's a lot more street violence. There's big problems at the moment with acid and knife attacks in the UK. I don't see any evidence of that happening here.
The experience of travellers is borne out by research. International SOS is the world's largest medical and travel security services firm. Every year, it releases a world travel risk map for its business clients. Since the beginning, China has ranked in the best category for security.
So in China overall, it's very actually has been very stable throughout the years. The overall risk is low. The Chinese law enforcement agency police and very robust and effective. They maintain a good control in the public order, so make all the travelers coming to this country feel very safe.
Breaking news out of London.
An active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the warehouse.
Get down.
To account for the good showing, start with the most publicised kind of crime. Terrorist attacks and mass shootings of the kind that plague Europe and the US are practically unheard of in China.
We have to notice that in Europe and the United States, now recently we have to see the surge of violence in public locations that dramatically impact the travelers' psychology and to some extent affecting travelers' itineraries as well.
Reliable data to compare rates of crime internationally is hard to come by, but where it can be found, China comes out well. China's murder rate, for example, is less than 1/5 of the US's, putting it roughly on a par with safe European nations Luxembourg and Switzerland. Of course, there's more to safety in China than meets the short-term traveller's eye. To gain a deeper insight, I'm here in Beijing's International University of Business and Economics, which has many foreign students living long-term.
Public safety, I think, is probably the safest place in the world right now, in my opinion. Kind of a night shift in Paris, and there's some parts of Paris you can't really go to because you don't want to risk yourself being robbed. Or in Beijing, with the police presence is very heavy here, so I feel way more safer walking in the streets at 3 a.m. without being scared at all.
The town I used to live in, you constantly hear gunshots and police sirens and different things like that. I feel very comfortable here, very safe. Even if something does happen, then it's pretty hard for anybody to get away with it.
Despite the strong impression of physical security, both long-term students and short-term visitors will also tell you petty theft is far from absent.
Theft is another story. In terms, like for instance, I have an electric bike. A lot of my friends have had their bike battery stolen or bicycle stolen. That's quite common here.
To sum up then, if overseas visitors feel anxiety when they arrive in China for the first time, they are quickly reassured and often leave with the impression of a country that is safer than their own.